Wonderful morning to you out there. It's really great to have you join us on the Break It On Papers Review this wonderful Saturday morning. My name is GBOLABO, Famous School, and of course, we'll be looking at some of the national dailies here. The headlines making the rounds on the front pages of some of Nigerian newspapers. And of course, I have the Punch newspaper, the Nation newspaper, the Vanguard, Nigerian Tribune, and a host of other papers here up for review. We'll be starting off very quickly with the Punch newspaper, and on the front page of the paper, inside bandits, nobody attacked that emptied Kwara community. Inside bandits, bloody attack that emptied Kwara community. Inside bandit, bloody attack that emptied Kwara community. And it says cover up, Natural Core freed after murder of 7 Lagos traders. You are a deadbeat father. Olu ex-wife slams monarch. Didi sentenced to 4 years for prostitution-related charges. And more headlines there from Kano to Iwobi. Top 10 Nigerians with most Premier League appearances. Double jeopardy, UK racism scandal, harsh visa laws hunt immigrants. I considered suicide after losing husband relatives to bandit attack. That's according to Kwara widow. Still here, still taking headlines out of the Punch newspaper front page. NAFDAC shorts Chinese supermarkets over unregistered products. And for escape there to trucks collide in Anambra. And that's a bit of Metro Plus. And tanker fire wreaks havoc in Ogun. Gombe gas explosion injures 3. Police meet Bauchi community over farmer header crisis. Still here on the front page of the Punch newspaper. This says farmers raise concerns over Brazilian firm $2.5 billion of Greek investment. And NAFDAC mandates food companies to reduce fats. Tinubu commend Crystal Laurel Limited at 35. PDP convention must be fair, inclusive. That's according to Oyo State Governor Makinde. Beating Atiku in primaries will be harder, says Shehu Sani. Nigeria's 65 electoral progress, setbacks, and the journey ahead. All of that are some of the headlines here making the rounds out of the Punch newspaper. All right, we quickly also look at the Nation as well and get some headlines here out of the Nation newspaper. And this says Jonathan Boko-Ram once nominated Buhari as neighbor. I'm committed to making Southeast great again. That's according to President Tinubu. Federal government met out to settle $32.8 million data privacy sanction out of court. Jubilation trails court order suspending police tinted glass permit enforcement. Oshu APC reinstated local government area chairman to recall 1,500 sacked workers. Court orders Abuja Metropolitan Council's ex-director Duko to refund 1.6 billion naira. Mohbad's father seeks prosecution of widow prime boy over singer's death. Osun local government funds. Court extends account freezing order till October 9. And still here on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning, a bit more of politics. 2027, North Central's agitations for presidency. Ododo, I'm committed to public welfare. ADC will spring surprise in Anambra. NFP faults INEC decision not to register as party. INEC boss urges National Assembly to fast-track Electoral Act amendment. Police take over Akwa Ibom PDP Secretariat. And this says 2027 U3 youth endorse Tinubu Oberwovere wave side exemplary leadership. All of that are some of the headlines there out of the Nation newspaper this morning. All right, you look at The Guardian Nigeria, they're also top headlines. Every unaccounted child is scar on Nigeria. That's according to Bishop Kukah. Every unaccounted child is scar on Nigeria. Bishop Kukah. 2027, Atiku has demonstrated he's an anti-democrat. And that is coming from Okechukwu. Thousands flee to Cameroon after Boko Haram seizes Kirawa in Borno. Nigeria at 65, Enugu Council Chairman preaches unity. Share not export ban deepens market disruptions, price collapse. And still here, still taking headlines out of the Guardian newspaper. Lagos State government tax teachers on self-development, professionalism. Police insistence on issuing CMRIS certificate ridiculous. That's according to Huruha. And we also have NHSOBA 82 said commend OT for appointing Ozoije as commissioner. During Dow's new category in Biosio Media Awards, all set for E1 Lagos GP as pilot brace for battle. Minister advocates value chain at livestock dialogue. NAFDAC shuts 2 Chinese supermarket, 8 shops in FCT. Afenifere firms over incursion of tourists into Kwara, Kogi. All right, that's the much we can take with the Guardian newspaper this morning, and a look at the Vanguard as well. Some of these headlines too are reflected on the Guardian, and the top story here says, why terror persists, another governor opens up. Boko Haram chose Buhari to negotiate with my government. That's according to Jonathan. I discovered that I am not really real. That's Wole Soyinka speaking. Segun Odegbami, sport in geopolitics at the platform. And this also talking sports Super Regals. President Tinubu should act now. Akpo Bore speaking there. All right, still here on the front page of the Vanguard, untold story of Delta's missing children, landlord tenancy issue, and why we can't all wait to be landlords by Muyiwa Adichiba, and why terror persists. Another governor opens up, taking earlier from Ajangbadi to world stage, how Anthony Madu danced his way to stardom. All right, these are some of the headlines making the rounds on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. A bit of Daily Post as well. So, some headlines still here out of the Daily Post this morning. Heartbreaking. Deputy Speaker Kalu on Lagos Street Fair demolitions. Nnamdi Kanu to regain freedom very soon. That's according to Governor Ote. 60-year-old American woman dies during visit to boyfriend in Warri. Peter Obi couldn't rescue Anambra, let alone Nigeria. SGF Akume speaking. Boko Haram used better ammunition than soldiers. Coming from Jonathan, Super Eagles faced last battle after South Africa's 3-point deduction in security. Kwara Northern College relocates from Ode to Ilorin. Insecurity, resident Desert Ode community in Kwara. And still here on the Daily Post news engine, we have this one a bit more. Peter Obi couldn't rescue Anambra, let alone Nigeria, of course, taken earlier. Reinstated Osun APC chairman vowed to recall workers pay monarchs. Ekiti PDP elect ex-acting governor Tunji Odeyemi as new chairman. Threats to kill APC opponents. Obedience movement demands arrest of Lagos NURTW chairman Sego. PDP not dead. Critics still obsessed with us. Ologunagba speaking there. And this one says Atiku demonstrated his anti-democrat with BBC interview. Osita Okechukwu speaking there. All right, already we have Austin Uduma standing by for us to do the analysis proper this morning. Okay, we do have the cable NG, and once that is done, we bring Austin to do this analysis for us this morning. Boko Haram nominated Buhari for peace talks, says Jonathan. Politically motivated claim. Garba Shehu replies. Ella Lakes to acquire firm co-owned by Toloram. Over 90% of informal sector operators have no capacity to pay tax, says Taiwo Oyedele. Alex Oti Tinubu favorably disposed to releasing Nnamdi Kanu soon. Didi sentenced to more than 4 years in prison in prostitution case. U.S. Senator proposes bill to sanction Nigerian officials over alleged killing of Christians. Hamas agrees to release all Israeli hostages, and that's outside the shores of the country. All right, we have Austin Adumi right about now to look at the headlines proper for us this morning. Austin, it's great to have you back.
GBOLABO, good morning and thank you for having me.
All right, Austin, so much revelation in one newspaper or in all the dailies. It's like a repeated headlines coming from the time of Jonathan as the ex-president of the country. And he said that Boko Haram nominated Buhari for peace talks, and that Buhari also appears to be a neighbor to them. And so many semantics have been used this morning. And then you also have Gabasheo replying that this is a politically motivated claim. And obviously, the late Buhari cannot come and defend himself. Now, would we say what Jonathan is passing across is just too late, or could be an intel to help us in future ways of attacking the terror that we've seen in various parts of the country itself?
Yeah, at a book launch written by the former CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, Lucky Rabo, about the scars, the journey, the Nigerian journey, and the Boko Haram conundrum. Lucky Rabo saw it all. He was at the epic center as a commander of the Operation Lafayette Dole before he was eventually appointed as the Chief of Defense Staff at that time. So we recounted based on his experience, especially first of all at the battlefield, and again as the coordinator of the military operations against insurgency, especially Boko Haram in the northeast. At that particular book launch, the two former presidents were present. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, former President and some other eminent Nigerians who spoke to what could be the issue that we are having, because since 2009 till this time is quite a long year, like 15 or 16 years ago, we have not been able to defeat insurgency, government in, government out. Of course, at some point, it became a subject of political campaign. People will always ride on that to get into power. And at the end of the day, the situation still remains the same. Yeah, in that particular book launch, former President Goodluck Jonathan also recounted his own experience, how the Chibok girls adoption created a scar in his own heart as the former president. And at some point, he did mention that Boko Haram once nominated former President Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari, late now, to mediate with the government on their behalf. And, that was like a very big allegation. Garba Shehu, the spokesperson to the late president, had to come out to say that no, that was not true. And we all could remember how Buhari was almost bombed, especially in Kaduna and some other places. The truth of the matter is that Buhari promised to tackle Boko Haram, to tackle insurgency. Of course, the highlight of the 2015 campaign to remove Jonathan from office was as a result of insecurity. It was largely premised on insecurity. But when Buhari came, it looks as if the situation worsened. A lot of people repose confidence in Buhari as a former military ruler. They might have seen experience, but Boko Haram and insecurity worsened substantially under Buhari, because when Jonathan was leaving, Boko Haram was largely restricted to the northeastern part of the country. But when Buhari came, all of a sudden, banditry became escalated in the northwest. Of course, there have always been banditry, but it became escalated in the northwest. Elders farmer clashes got to the climax under Buhari. So the situation actually worsened. The truth of the matter is that we must all come together, address socio-economic fundamentals, because, like we said, Bishop Kukah said something, and I remember that piece. Bread, not bullets, because bullet alone has proven not to be the only solution. So the government can also look at the carrot approach to all of this, with a view of doing justice. In the process of wielding the carrot approach, we must also look at the content of justice, content of fairness, because some people have been victim of these guys, of the activity of this guy. We must serve justice thoroughly, summon the political will, deal with saboteurs within the system, because some people definitely are aiding these guys. This is the truth of the matter. And I want to also conclude by saying that It does not have to do with a particular religion, because both religions largely have been victim of the activity of banditry, activity of terrorists in the northern part of the country. What I also want the government to look at is the possibility of declaring bandit terrorists, because they carry out terrorist attack, they carry out terrorist activity. If we declare them as terrorists, we will be able to deploy, especially hardware armament against them in terms of military equipment, for those who will not surrender, so that we will not run against international laws.
But Austin, do
But
you
if we
think
don't
only
declare them as
carrots?
terrorists,
Sorry,
we cannot do
Austin,
with
to
this.
butt in. You mentioned carrot. Will carrot approach alone be okay to deal with this menace without also wielding the stick?
Of course, I said the bullet alone, military operation alone cannot solve the problem. So definitely there have been one approach before. So carrot cannot be the only approach. Definitely, it can't be the only approach. In short, we should rise from the position of strength, and those who are willing to surrender can be accommodated and rehabilitated, radicalized, rehabilitated, and reintegrated back into the system. Carrot approach cannot win the battle because it has never really worked in the past. We must rise from the position of strength, then fire them. Those who kill people must be killed. And in the case that, maybe they are being overpowered and some people genuinely want to drop their arms, we can use the window of the carrot approach to bring them to rehabilitation. That is the point I was making. So if bullet alone cannot solve the problem, definitely we cannot go in the way of carrot alone, because we must deal with the root causes. We also look at, Obasanjo dwell more in that occasion on the socio-economic problem. We must look at the socio-economic problem. What do these guys want? Look at the rate of poverty in the northern part of the country. Look at the rate of out of school children in the northern part of the country. So that ordinarily constitutes like a breeding ground, a recruiting ground for insurgency. So we must address that issue, socio-economic issue. That's what the government can also look at. And there must be collaboration from all the governors, all the critical stakeholders in the northern part of the country, because most of the time we play politics with this thing because people want to use it as a major campaign, a political campaign strategy. We must deal with this issue. These guys are not ghosts. They are from somewhere. Some people claim to know them. We know where they live. We know their location. So how come they are still ravaging our country this bad? So, and the government is also voting money. Government is making effort. You see this governor, they will say, the president is trying, the NSA is trying, but the war is not ending. The war is not ending. Fundamentally, something is wrong somewhere. And it is not about just the president alone. The people, especially in the north, have to come together, make up their mind that they are going to defeat this war. And it is doable.
All right, Austin. There's a bit of feature, landlord tenancy issue and why we can't all wait to be landlords. And that appears to be a special feature here. Austin, it's no longer news that Nigeria inflation has remained at about 25%, which has actually made the cost of materials quite expensive for people who are building, landlords and estate developers or building construction workers here of the real estate sector in Nigeria. We also look at even the high rate of exchange rates, which some would say that the naira is weakening compared to what the dollar is in the foreign exchange market. But that said, Austin, now it's been said from this analysis that landlords are forced to increase, or realtors are forced to increase the cost of rent. But then what about the rickety houses that have been there for a very long time? And because of the times, they also have to increase. Where do we put that as well? Looking at this feature itself, this is a major catastrophe in the country presently. A number of people are complaining about the very high cost of getting a life to live, especially across states that are not even expensive before.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. If you look at the rising cost of living, you can also diverge it from what is happening. But the truth of the matter is that the Nigerian real estate is overvalued, and it's largely overvalued as a result of corruption,
Hmm.
especially those who have access to free fund. Because when you see some houses, I see some houses in Lagos, 1.5 billion, 4 billion, as in structures, houses. Some of them, if you look at the fittings, if you look at the finishings, they are not even worth it. So they are largely overvalued because some of these guys in government, politicians, they steal money, and what they invest more in is real estate. They use it as a form of capital tie down. Then the issue of rent is a major issue that is affecting our people. You said something that is very striking. Those days, sometimes ago, before a Lagos landlord will increase rent, they will do one renovation or refurbishment or the other. But in a place like Ibadan, for example, you see a old house. You are talking about rising cost of living, cement, exchange rate, and what have you. How about houses that have been built for the past 20, 30 years? So you see, discover that some of these landlord or homeowner, they are capitalizing on the economic situation to make life unbearable for people.
Hmm.
That's the truth of the matter, because it is even not commensurate at all to even economic reality. Some people sit down as homeowner, as a property owner, to say that, oh, we are going to look at it. Okay, let me give you a classical example. Government activity too can also push up rent rent in our society. There is a particular new estate around my place. When the place was constructed, when it's being constructed, when the fertile ground, they opened up the place and the land was, they said, they advertised the land that, oh, it's 4 million, and some of us are key into it. At some points, government officials, the government, they came and they saw that this is like a
Hmm.
prime area. They had to increase the cost of land from 4 million to 20, 30 million. So if you are a developer and you acquire such a land and you build, the rent will be throat cutting.
Hmm.
That's the truth. So government can use policies and program to bring down the rent. I just use this particular example as a case study. It is on and on like that. We have a lot of estate in Ibadan today that the government has opened up. What is the level of affordability in terms of property acquisition, in terms of rent? Because at the long run, we look at the rent. We are not looking at the cost of the property. It is the cost of the property that ultimately crystallizes in overall rent. So we must look at that too. So government can also help, and individuals too can also help. We can help with policy. Look at rent, for example. We can come back to a policy that, oh, rent should be paid maybe monthly. Let people have the opportunity to pay their rent monthly. It's something that is good, because at times when you look at facility in those structure, some of them, they don't have running water. Some of them, they don't have adequate security. Some of them, they are even constructed with substandard material, and they want to also put it out for huge amount in terms of recouping their investment for rent. Then another thing that is also driving rent crazy is the activity of some boys that you refer to as Yahoo boys. You know, any area they get into,
Hmm.
rent will go up. A lot of people will bear me witness concerning what I'm saying this morning. You see rent that does not even worth it, but these guys do not actually labor for their money. So they have access to cheap funds, just like those in government who steal government money. So these guys have access to cheap funds. So it does not really matter to them. Meanwhile, an average individual who work out his house on a daily basis to get money will find it difficult to pay rent in such an environment. There are so many areas in Ibadan. If you hear the rent, it's crazy. Before, we used to look at Lagos, but Ibadan is becoming increasingly unaffordable as we speak today. and the government has to quickly do something about that.
Can the government also regulate the agents here? Because at times, what the landlords are even putting out or the realtors are putting out is different from what the agents are saying. And they will tell you have to pay for this, pay for that, sign this, and all of them have to do with payment. And sometimes, even what they're asking for is equivalent to the house rent itself. And that actually brings the price very up. In a way, can government regulate them? Is it going to be possible for the government to do that?
Yeah, government can regulate them. Government is like the almighty. There's no sector or no agency or individual that government cannot regulate. If they decide to summon the political will, the courage to be able to do it. Because what you are saying is true. For example, a house that is going for like 250,000 or 350,000, and you see the off court will be going to like 150. At the end of the day, a rent of 250, you'll be paying as high as 400 as total package. And when you look at the facility, they are nothing to write to me, but that's my own problem. My own problem with Nigerian real estate is that if you are going to make it very expensive, let the furnishing, the interior be luxurious. Let there be value for money. But some of this rent that we talk about, there is totally no value for money. That's the truth. So government across board, the federal government also had to take steps to look at the real estate. We must look at it. We are only looking at the cost of rent. We are not looking at the cost of land. We are not looking at some of the associated factors that will eventually add up to what the rent will be. It is strictly overpriced. That is the way it should be. Areas that are affordable, look at Osun. Osun State used to be very affordable before, but now people are also complaining, and so on and so forth. Ibadan, with the cost that you used to rent in Lagos before per annum, you can use it to rent in Ibadan for like 5 years. But today now we have houses and properties over 1 million, over 2 million, even in Ibadan, over 3 million, over 5 million, even in Ibadan. And when you look at the structure, when you look at the facility, they are not even commensurate to the value. So that's the truth. So government has to come in, regulate some of the activity that could also help people to reduce the cost of rent.
All right, Austin, there is another governor opening up, and this is from Vanguard. It says, why terror persists? Another governor opens up. And now he's talking about our military apparatus, architecture being overwhelmed by bandits across the country, and they don't have the weaponry to tackle some of this element out of the shores of the country itself. Now, if you even look at the governors, for instance, many people have been saying that the security votes, let them reveal how much they get and what are they even doing, instead of actually running to their liaison offices in Abuja or where else to stay safe and leave their people, in limbo in the state itself. Now, is it enough to talk about all of these issues? What are the best way to hold these governors accountable? Because they are directly involved with the people. They are directly involved with the local government. How much more can they be accountable when they are there? Rather than when they leave the office, they begin to give all sort of claims and attributions and solutions. But while they are there, those solutions never happen. How do we hold them accountable, especially to the security of the states?
Yeah, the major problem we have had to deal with in Nigeria over the years is that we most time want to hold the president, the federal government, accountable for virtually everything. That's the truth. We want to hold the president. Some people, if they have issues with their spouses, they will say it's the president or the federal government. But we are not looking deep down, especially the governors. Politics is local, they say. Security too is also local. Some people will phone in this morning and say, oh, governors are not the chief security officer. It's only on paper. But if they want to withstand their political opponents, they know how to use this same security against their perceived political enemy. That is what we are talking about. Rather than talking lamentation on the pages of newspaper, get down into the issue. You must defend your people. Look for a way to defend your people. The late Arakuni Rotimi Akeredolu has shown us that as a governor, you can rise up for your people. Rise up for your people. Let's people assume that the federal government is not serious about it like so many people believe. But you need to deal with the issue. You must protect your people. You have access to fund. You even have access to more funding. There is a lot you can do. We have had cause to interact with a commissioner of police as in the course of our job. And the commissioner of police, when we raised the issue that, oh, you have to take orders from Abuja, the governor is not in charge, it's just the chief security officer on paper. The commissioner of police said, no, it is not true. I received command and instruction from the governor that the only time the governor may not have a say is maybe when the president is interested or is anything, maybe power from above. So most of these governors, they hide under that guise. We have seen governors who rose up from their people and they later secure the lives and property of their people. Of course, the federal government security is on the exclusive list. It is within the purview of the federal government. But we have also seen initiative carried out by states in the past and even presently to be able to deal with the issue of insecurity and better secure the lives and property of those who elected them into office. So the point I'm making is that governors that are coming out trying to play politics. The other time a governor came out and said he can monitor the location of bandits on his phone, he knows where they are, but is incapacitated. I said the people, they are supposed to stone that type of governor. How can you say that you know where the people that are killing your people they are, and you say you are incapacitated? So what do you mean? That these are the issue. Most of the time, we play politics with it. We don't want the problem to solve. Of course, we say we want it to be solved, but deep down in our heart, we don't want it to be solved. Right. So that at every election cycle, we will have campaign issue to tackle. In my view, I think that is what they are doing. It is more political because if we all come together, governors, the president, all of them, they come together. This is an issue that we can all deal with purposefully and intentionally. That is my take.
All right, we have to go on this break. What about now? When we do come back, we'll be having more on the Break It On Papers Review. Please do stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
To all Nigerians round the world, standing tall against all odds, showing love with Indomie. Now let's sing this song. I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my
Happy Indomie. World Indomie Day.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Yes.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids Milo 3-in-1, milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo! Mommy, Golden Penny is giving away 4 billion naira prizes for the 65th anniversary. Just buy Golden Penny noodles, pasta, or semovita. Check inside pack for code. Send code on WhatsApp and win airtime instantly. With 10 packs of Golden Penny noodles, 3 pasta, or 3 500 grams or 1 kilogram semovita, you can join the raffle and start a chance to win cash prizes, kitchen makeovers, and even a car.
Promo starts from September 22nd, 2025. For more information, visit www.goldenpennypromo.com.
Ìjọ Kristi ń tẹ̀lé ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀, ohun tó bá sọ láwùí, ibi tó ti dákẹ́ àwa náà ó sì dákẹ́. Àṣẹ tí Kristi bá pa là ń tẹ̀lé nínú ìjọ rẹ̀ tí í ṣe ìjọ Kristi. Ìjọ ti májẹ̀mú tuntun tó ti wà kí ìyapa tó bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ìjọ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ Pentecost ní ìṣe àwọn àpòstélì orí kejì. Ìjọ àwọn onígbàgbọ́ tó ń tẹ̀lé ẹ̀kọ́ àwọn àpòstélì àti òfin Ọlọ́run láì fi ìyìn rere ṣòwò ikùn ara ẹni. Ìjọ Kristi ó mọ mú ìyìn rere Kristi wá sétí ìgbọ́ yín níkànnì yìí 32 FM 94.9 bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ Sunday ọjọ́ 14 oṣù kẹsàn-án tá a wà yìí láago kan ọ̀sán gẹ́rẹ́gẹ́. Èyí ni ìyìn rere ti Kristi gẹ́gẹ́ bí Bíbélì mímọ́ ṣe gbé kalẹ̀ fáwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn rẹ̀ láti tẹ̀lé láì fi kún tàbí yọ kúrò. Ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó yè kooro láì lábùlàlẹ̀ yìí. Ẹ má gbàgbé o ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Sunday látọjọ́ 14 oṣù kẹsàn-án tá a wà yìí. Lètò yóò mọ wáyé ní déédéé aago kan ọ̀sán níkànnì 32 FM 94.9. Ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa.
To all Nigerians round the world, standing tall against all odds, showing love with Indomie. Now Now let's sing this song. I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my
Happy World Indomie Day.
When the big names talk, they talk to us. Join GBOLABO Famous Call and her team of panelists on the podium
by 9 a.m. every Saturday for a deep dive into trending political and socio-economic issues.
To all Nigerians round the world, standing tall against all odds, showing love with Indomie. Now let's sing this song. I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my Indomie, Indomie, Indomie. Yes, I love my
Happy World Indomie Day.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
All right, you're welcome back. You're still on to Breaking Down Papers Review here on your Laughter Dial 32 FM 94.9. And of course, still taking headlines and analysis. We still do have Austin Odumo with us virtually this morning. Austin, before we open the phone lines, let's quickly touch on this. Court suspend police tinted glass permit enforcement. Many people over time had complaining about extortion and harassment. And of course, you have some windows already factory fitted, talking about some of these tinted windows for cars here in Nigeria, but the average enforcement officer would not listen to such explanation. Now, do you think going forward this will solve this will bring about any sort of solutions to this harassment, extortions that people complained about?
Yeah, let's hope that the court judgment the police will listen to this, because this is not the first judgment to that effect. Various IGP have said repeatedly, but the guys on the roads, they wouldn't listen. Then, if you look at factory-fitted tinted glasses, that is understandable. But we too, our SSs are so much. You will buy a car that is not factory-fitted tinted, that is not factory tinted. You see people going to somewhere in Dubai there, they will go and buy tinted whatever to tint the glass. If it's a factory fitted, the factory fitted own is not as deep as the artificial one, if you agree with me. I've used that before. If it is not factory fitted, then there's no point. But for those that are factory fitted, I think the police should look for a way to exonerate those ones, because these ones came directly from the manufacturer. But if they want to restrict it at all, it is the artificial ones. At times, you see some of them even peeling off, disfiguring the car or what have you. Because if you don't, the one that is factory fitted is most especially at the back side, even the front. If it is factory fitted, it will even be lighter, because those who manufacture the car, they know what they are doing.
But Austin, if you look at some political public exposed individuals, you see them with tinted glasses, talking about their windows here. And now people also want to copy what they see from their leaders. Should it also start from, from the top to the bottom here?
If we say our leaders are not doing well, we complain about our leader, they are bad. Why must we copy them on something that is bad? Some of the factory fitted for the leaders we are talking about, they are armored, they are custom built. That is understandable, whether for our leaders or not. Me, I do not support artificial plastering of tinted. That is my view. I've always hold this view. If it is factory fitted, if it is an armored vehicle, for example, most armored vehicles, they are custom made. And if they are custom made, it is a very thick glass, so there's no way you can even see what is going on inside. So if it is not that, but those who buy private car, they go to Dubai to go and buy tinted nylon or what have you to do it. I do not subscribe to that. But this judgment is across board. Let's see whether police will will obey this judgment. I hope they will obey the judgment.
All right. The numbers to call in are 070 55000 We have a caller already. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Good morning, sir.
This is Augustine. My name is Ade from UI. I want to comment on insecurity in relation to what governors can do and what governors cannot do. My sister, in Nigeria, the way Nigeria is structured, there's nothing any governor can do. If I can be able to have Mr. Augustine's phone number, I'll share a video to him. The video indicates how and why former governor of Imo State was removed. The Fulani, I will send the video to you too, my sister, if you have it. The Fulani begged the governor, he said you heard that they doing their bidding. The man refused. Then they said they bring the fourth person who is now doing their bidding. They mentioned in the video, I'll send it to you. That's number one. When something happened in Okwama, that the soldiers, the key soldiers, the governor of Delta State was going there, soldiers chased him back. As a security force man in the state, why didn't he force himself to go? The only governor that can do something at try a bit is if you are in line with the federal government and your policy. Look at what is going on in River State. He is federal government power that you need to look at what when the governor was in the assembly. He wanted to go to see the assembly. Area boy chased the governor back. Why didn't he use his power as the state governor? You see, this country is a country that has been captured by. It needs a lot of reforms in this country. A lot of things to be done. This security we are talking about now. If they are attacking people, my sister, if they are attacking people and vigilante people to try to protect themselves. Look at what happened in Kaduna State now. Villagers, they try to attack vigilantes. Somebody now said the quarter from above to be sending guns, protecting the security and the terrorists. Who sent you? And it was a former governor that I will not mention. That former governor is now answering now that he wants to take over the country from a particular person. And you know who you are. My sister, let's have the best of today.
All right, thank you so much, Ade from UI. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, GBOLABO. Good morning, Austin.
Morning.
This is Shegun from Oyo.
All right.
Now, we are talking about landlords. Some landlords are not culpable. It is the agent. A house of 300,000. You see the total package, almost 901 million naira. The government must regularize these agents and developers. Two, about security. If the local government is functioned the way they're supposed to be, the local vigilantes and our Amatekun can work the security of our area. The Amatekun stayed in town, Ibadan, Oyo. They don't go to the interior. That's the problem we have. We have educated Amatekun. Is that the way they are doing it in Shanondo? Now, we are talking about federal government. Let all states, federal government is not performing. All states should perform. If your state perform more than Ogun, Nigeria will be better because it is local people that we enjoy, not the people in Abuja. About tinted glasses, allegedly, some people are using to commit crime. It's not why are you tinted your glass? You don't want people to see you. They don't want people to know what you are doing inside. Now, wow. Have a nice time. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much, Shegun, for that. We do have another caller here. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Thank you. I'm John Newton. Thank you also for being there. I want to talk about these tinted glasses. Police have no option but to adhere to this court injunction. It is just an injunction for now, pending the determination of the substantive sheet on ground. The tinted glasses, there is a section to read, there is an act to read, and this thing has been in existence since 1991. I'm telling Nigerians again since 1991, even during this era. But because police itself, as an agent, has refused to adhere enforcing that order, so a lot of people believe even that there was nothing like that. It has been in existence since then. And he uses the word tinted glasses. It gives 14 days for anyone who bought factory-fitted vehicles into the country to get permit or remove that glasses. And then the only excuse is that either on health ground or security ground. That is all. Thank you. I'm John Newton Joko.
All right. Thank you so much, John Newton Joko, for that. Hello. Good morning. All right. We take another caller here. Okay, the numbers are 070-55,949 or 080-97,949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, dear GBOLABO.
Morning.
And the brilliant analyst. This Prince Bumi Adefusi calling from Apata. It would have been better if federal governments can decentralize security architecture in Nigeria so that state governments can also have a larger quota. You see, had it been local security men can bear sophisticated weapons, despite the export of the Oyo State government. If you go out now, maybe you just stand in front of a 32 FM, maybe just 5 minutes, you will see a vehicle that was donated by the Oyo State government, donated by the Oyo State government, donated by the Oyo State government. But the state government can't have power to control the security agent that is all federal. That is the issue now. Thank God we are in the state whereby the state government is responsible when it comes to security. He bought surveillance, he bought armor tank, he bought operational vehicles to all security agencies in the state. Had it been a federal government just listing one day and allow local women to be sophisticated, or they should give up state police, it will have been better. Thank God Oyo State is ranked number one safest state in Nigeria, followed by Abuja and which state from is in 𝐂𝐈𝐒 or so.
All right.
Good morning. That's my submission. Federal government should look beyond just holding power to themselves alone. That's my submission. Good morning.
All right. Thank you so much, Bumi Adefusi there. Hello, good morning. Okay, on Facebook, we are also live on Facebook in case you want to drop your comment there, and also on YouTube, 32FM949 for here with double E's. Festus Okundia says cost of rentage is high and unbearable to most Nigerians. The government should find a way to reduce the cost of building. And of course, we have Nma Olebara says, Dr. Mrs. Olebara from Owerri. The way some people talk as if they are God that knows tomorrow. Victory for Tinubu in an election, all right, that is yet to be done in 2027. God is the ultimate decider, and the people have to say to vote who will be their president. All right, Fawole Femi says, top of the morning to the 2FM family, top of the morning to you too. And here says, all right, some part of it, the information in the book written by former defense chief can be a good and reliable account that can help the government to defeat terrorists and end the serious security challenges which Nigeria has been battling with in about 2 decades now. Omade Adekunle says, Baba Tinubu's administration is already known as government with high taxes. They removed subsidy and increased tax to generate more revenue at the expense of the masses. Tolokwe Adeyemi says, good morning, GBOLABO. Good morning to you too. Please, the government should do something concerning this is of house rent. Okay, I think this case of house rent too, it's really killing Biko. They want to take the life out of some of us who are just planning to settle down with the exorbitant fees, and yet no commensurable value for all this money. All right, we also have Lawrence Ogundele says, how can companies fold up on tax yet to be implemented? Some people are writing in hatred. All right, we have Sulaiman Sherry says, I'm ashamed of this country called Nigeria. The country is faced with hunger, insecurity, crumbling economy, and government is busy fighting against tinted glass that have nothing to do with the above mentioned challenges facing the nation. All right, we have some callers here. Our time is almost gone this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, we have another caller here. Our time is running very fast. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, happy weekend. So I'm sure you're from Nara.
All right.
Since said something that bring the Dulu and my.
All right. I guess you may have to call us quickly back because, okay, we have another caller there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, GBOLABO.
Good morning, sir.
John Ariwadi speaking from Madu.
Okay.
The issue of the high of the housing that are everywhere. To me, the government is individual about this. I'm saying something at all. I know how the local government awarded the land, allocated the land, and after they have built the shop, you know how much they are sending the shop.
the traders. Many of us find it difficult to afford it. The same thing, this set of politicians, they will go acquire land and they will build the estate. And they do the estate for us. We cannot avoid it. We cannot build the just like 2-bedroom flats, self-contained, that we are for the masses. The government are the ones that even encouraging the masses for this.
All right, I must say a big thank you to John Olariwaju for dropping that. Our time is fast spent, and to all those still calling, we say a big thank you. And those who sent in their messages, a big thank you as well. And of course, Austin Odumo, thank you so much for doing this with us as usual on the Break It On Papers Review. And join us next week for another interesting edition of the Break It On Papers Review. My name is 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐌𝐄𝐑, famous school, and Baba Fendo is up next. Please do stay with us.
From the hottest gist to the coolest stories.